It's 1985 in New York City at the height of the contemporary art movement in the 20th century. During this time, art galleries didn't seem to be properly representing female artists like they should. A group of 7 feminist women decided something needed to be done about it. They came up with an idea to form a group called the Guerrilla Girls. Through wheat pasting, provocative campaign posters, and indoor exhibits, the Guerrilla Girls brought gender and racial inequalities within the arts community into focus. That includes painting, film, politics, mass, and pop culture. They also use culture jamming, which is a tactic used to disrupt media culture and advertising intended to explore questionable political assumptions behind commercial culture. In 1985, the Museum of Modern Art had a popular exhibit showcasing the most influential painters and sculptors at that time from 17 countries. Out of 165 artists, only 13 were women. The number of minority artists was even less, and none of them were women of color. One of the curators even made a comment about how if you weren't included in that exhibit, you should rethink your career. Of course, many women found that very offensive and decided to protest in front of the museum. That is how the Guerrilla Girls were formed. Not only were the Guerrilla Girls concerned with the lack of female artists represented, they were also upset that of all the nude exhibits, females were represented more than males. Because of that, in the early years, they would do weenie counts where they would go around to different institutions and count male to female ratios in the artwork. The Guerrilla Girls held meetings to evaluate data regarding gender inequality within the art scene in New York. They also worked closely with artists to try to encourage them to speak out on trying to close the gender gap where they saw it happening. The Guerrilla Girls wanted to remain anonymous while fighting for rights because, I quote, "Anonymous free speech is protected by the Constitution, and you'll be surprised what comes out of your mouth when you wear a mask." Because of that, they wear gorilla masks to protect their identity. The true identities of Guerrilla Girls has never been known. They prefer to use pseudonyms based on dead female artists such as Frida Kahlo, Alma Thomas, and Alice Neal. They chose to use pseudonyms to make sure female artists weren't forgotten about. If a woman wants to become a member of the Guerrilla Girls, it's by invitation only. Membership is also based on any relationships between past and current members, in addition to their own involvement in the contemporary art world. They have in the past, though, formed a mentoring program. Through the program, a new member is placed with an existing member to show them the ropes. Even though the Guerrilla Girls were shaped by the 1970s feminist movement, they wanted to do things a little bit differently to hopefully get better results. They noticed that picketing and marches, along with the 1970 views of feminists, which were man-hating, anti-maternal, and humorless, were very ineffective. Because of this, they decided to tackle their issues with laughter and wit in hopes of preventing backlash. The Guerrilla Girls are most popular for their work in bold protest art. They started out with mostly black and white posters at first, but that soon evolved to them passing out handbills, showcasing on billboards, and even being displayed on the side of New York buses. Their first color poster which also to this day remains their most popular, is a 1989 Metropolitan Museum poster which used data from the group's first weenie count. It's based on the overwhelming number of nude female models in the museum. My favorite piece of theirs is a poster published in a portfolio titled Dearest Art Collector. This poster was sent to well-known art collectors across the United States to bring awareness to the low number of works they own by female artists. It's different than their typical work because although it contained a serious message, it was written on pink paper in a very girl-like cursive handwriting. It was so sarcastic and I love it. It was aimed at the expectation that even when women present a serious topic, it should be done in a socially acceptable way. It was also showing how hard it is for female artists and how difficult it is for them to be recognized and taken seriously. Even with all the amazing work done by the Guerrilla Girls, they've still received some backlash. Despite fighting for racial equality, they've been accused of not being diverse enough. In 2003, there was even an eternal dispute stating 2 of the founding members were taking all of the profits as well as all of the credit. These women have been around for 30 plus years and have continuously fought to make changes in the art world. Over the years, they've had 55 members, some staying longer than others. They're still standing strong though. They can be anywhere at any time, and you wouldn't even know. They currently have upcoming projects in London, Paris, and many more places to come.